The next question is for Mr. Farnham. Do you believe that communication with your constituents is important? If so, how will you improve communication in addition to your newsletter? This is for both candidates. Mr. Farnham first.
I started walking immediately after I was elected. And when I'm in Springfield, I try to come back to the district and I try to get at least 15 hours in when I'm in Springfield. That usually means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes into Friday. But I try to get out walking on the weekend just to meet you, just to find out what's going on. So I believe that is our districts aren't so large that we can't get to people. So I think as a representative, you are supposed to represent. And I think that has to be face-to-face. Newsletters are nice. And yes, computers are great. I admit I'm not a person to be sitting at a computer and twittering, and I'm just not that kind of a person. But I am a face-to-face person. And I do everything I can to be accessible to the people of the 44 district.
Ms. Munson?
Well, I am a tweeter and a social media junkie and have found that it's a great way to get the word out about what's going on in Springfield, but also to have a two-way dialogue with those people who are using those tools, but clearly not everybody does. I believe in a regular email newsletter to kind of keep people up to date on a weekly or bi-weekly basis on what's happening and to solicit their input on bills that are coming up in Springfield. I would hold a series of coffees when I was in the district and invite people to participate, as well as going out and talking to people at all kinds of community events, knocking on their doors. I would have a satellite office in Carpentersville, Dundee area to make sure that that population had easier access to my offices. I would maintain office hours, regular office hours, and then I would also maintain some extended office hours and office hours by appointments to make it as easy as possible for constituents to have access to me, whether I'm in Springfield or whether I'm in the district.
Thank you. The next question is for Ms. Munson. How much money have you actually brought to the city of Elgin? What, where, and how much?
For those of you who don't know, I served in the legislature for a while and worked hard to meet the needs of our local community. I know I brought money back to help with parks programs, to help with law enforcement programs, to help with youth development programs, to help with our senior programs. I was successful in getting Route 31 paved ahead of schedule so that it wouldn't be plagued with potholes. I worked to get construction programs moved up, especially at serious intersections like Shales Parkway and Route 20. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but whenever the city needed something, whenever any of my communities needed something, whether it was streetlights in Carpentersville or some other need, I was able to help them solidify dollars, for their needs.
Mr. Farnham.
I've been in office about 21 months, and I've worked with the local municipal people on various things. The art space is one of the things that many of you know about that's about to happen in our community, which will have a good deal of effect both in creating jobs and in creating economic development. I could go on and give a list of things. Carpentersville, getting them a loan program to be able to build their well, to finish their well so that they could provide infrastructure to the people. The annexation agreement for East Dundee, which will bring them about $500,000. Working with both the village and the Walmart people to try to keep the Walmart there in town. No promise there, but that's 40% of their tax revenue. And, you know, various things working with Mayor Schock and the City Council and Sean Stiegel for Elgin. But, you know, I think it's very important to keep in mind that we have to stay focused on the people that we serve here in the community. And I try to save money by sending money back to the state. I sent $20,000 back from my office allotment by just focusing on trying to keep our costs down.
We have 3 more questions. The next question, and this question goes to you, Mr. Farnham. Do you support same-sex unions or marriage, or neither? Why or why not?
The answer, as I gave in my newspaper interview, is yes, I support civil unions.
Ms. Munson?
There's a court case that's making its way through the federal courts that's going to help define how we move forward with same-sex marriage or civil unions, and I think it's important that we take a look at the outcome of that particular case. Having said that, we have families who have children who need to know in cases of a parent becoming ill or a parent dying, what their, where they're going to be, where they're going to end up should something terrible happen to one member of a family member. We have legal issues with people who are getting ill or who are hospitalized, and they need someone to make healthcare decisions for them. And so we've got a system set up where children and people who need healthcare and people who need legal assistance need our help from the state. And I would support initiatives and laws that would provide those types of legal protections.
Next question. Do you support redrawing legislative districts after each census? And who should be responsible? The legislature, nonpartisan legislative secret? No, that's not bad. One mistake so far. Okay. We'll start from the beginning. Okay. Number 1, do you support redistricting? And if you do, should it be done after each census? And then who should do that? The legislature, a nonpartisan legislative service agency, or an independent citizen commission?
I supported the League of Women Voters Fair Map Amendment. I think it took the responsibility for drawing a legislative map away from incumbent legislators and gave it to an independent body to draw a fair map, a map that included everyone's concerns and needs except the concerns and needs of the incumbent legislator to get reelected. I mean, the power within our current state legislature lies in the fact that the last few maps has contributed to the lack of choice within legislative districts. And so people really don't have a choice in many cases because incumbent legislators are reelected 98% of the time. What we need to do is take that piece of legislation out of the hands of incumbent legislators who right now hold it in the Rules Committee and have not let it have a hearing and move forward. And we can do that through the redistricting process to make sure those people also have an opponent at the polls through this redistricting process. So I applaud the League of Women Voters for moving forward with redistricting that puts control in the hands of all of you, puts control in the hands of the people of Illinois and out of the hands of incumbent legislators.